Do you need something to power your rig when operating portable? Are you about fed up with lugging that 40-pound lead acid battery around? If so, stick around. Hi, and welcome to the Gadget Talk channel, where we do reviews and how-tos on a variety of electronic gadgets that catch my eye. In this video, we're going to take a look at a very nice battery box designed especially for hams and other radio enthusiasts. It's the Explorer Deluxe Box from Gigaparts. I came back from this year's Quartz Fest ham convention and campout having learned a couple of things. One was that using a big old lead acid battery for my portable power source wasn't really a good long-term solution. Since I was planning on doing some portable operations this summer, I needed something better. A basic solution soon emerged. It included a small to medium-sized battery box and a much lighter lithium iron phosphate or LiFePO4 battery. I think I'll go into a specific discussion of sizing the battery in another video. For this video, however, we're going to focus on the box. The choice boiled down to getting one that was already put together or assembling the parts and putting it together myself. Now, depending on the tools you have available and the enjoyment you get from completing projects, both are reasonable choices. As I looked at the cost of the pieces for a similar configuration to the Explorer Deluxe box, paying retail at Amazon was going to cost the same or more than the finished Gigaparts box. For example, the retail price for round Anderson power pole fittings is about $26 each. The Explorer box has 3 of them, so that means you're in over $75 with just those fittings. You can save some money getting some multi-port switch panels, but single fittings for switches, USB chargers and the like are about $20 each. Since I was more interested in the finished product than the build, for me, the Explorer Deluxe was a no-brainer. Let's head down to the workshop where we can spread out a bit. So let's take a tour of the Explorer battery box. Down here in the workshop, I've got a little bit more room to spread out. And so let's take a look at what we've got. Now, by way of comparison, let me bring in a 50 cal ammo box. I use this to transport batteries back and forth from the flying field for my RC flying. And you can see that this is just a little bit bigger than the ammo box itself. So with that in mind, let's go through the tour. So let's take a look at the top and get a better view of the various outlets we've got going here. Now, in many ways, this box is designed for hams as opposed to someone who's running a trolling motor or some other kind of need for a power box. And that's evident in the fact that we've got Anderson power poles here, a pair of them. We go up here, we've got an additional pair of Anderson power poles, so that's a total of 4. These are wired directly to the battery, and the battery connections have inline 30 amp fuses. Now, you also have these outlets, which are controlled by this switch, so we'll turn it on, and so it lights up. Here we've got a USB charge port. These are USB A's. These are the 3.0 USB charge. Here's 2 more. These are 2.4 amp charge, the normal charge rate. And then over here is a combo switch that's got a USB 3.0 outlet, a USB A outlet here. It's got the voltmeter, so you can see the power in the battery. And then it's got a power distribution output, which is a Class C or USB-C type outlet. So let me tip that up a little bit so hopefully you can see that. Now, all of these, as I said, are connected to the switch, and when you turn the switch off, these will all lose power, although the Anderson plugs won't. And then on this corner, we've got another single Anderson power pole input. It's labeled power input. And this too is wired to the terminal side of these two plugs over here, which will allow you then to plug in a solar panel and that kind of thing if the solar charge controller is part of the panel. There's not a solar charge controller here inside the box itself. And then speaking of these two plugs, these are just 4mm banana plugs, and then they can unscrew with a little hole right here in the side that would allow you to put a bare wire in there and then cinch it down. One of the ways I'm planning to charge this is I've got some 4mm banana plugs, again from my RC hobby. I'm just going to plug them in there so I've got a nice stud there to clip my battery charger on, my AC power battery charger. And so that will allow me to keep the batteries charged. So let's look inside for just a minute and see how all of this is wired together. So let's first look at the battery. These two pieces of foam come in the package, and so don't throw those away because they're really handy to help take up some of the space that you have here for the battery. It's plenty big to take any of a number of battery sizes, and then you see I've got a couple of small pieces of foam just to keep everything from banging around. By using just a plug of foam here, it also gives me some space to hold some stuff. So I've got the instructions for the battery. I've got an extra screw that came for the battery terminal, and then I have room for some wires or some adapters should I choose to do that. So let's slide this over and take a look at the wiring of the various plugs and switches. Okay, so here are the various plugs and switches that we have over here. Here are the two terminals, those red and black plugs that were on the outside, and you can see they are the major input terminals. The batteries connect to there, all of the positives connect here, and then all of the negatives connect over here. Now what's interesting is that this is the power input, and so you see this is a wire that goes directly to the negative, and then this wire gets blended in the connector over here into the positive. So these have got a direct path to the battery that will allow it to provide the charging. Now, charging the thing is probably going to be easier with the switch turned off and without anything connected. And so you can easily just plug into this Anderson power pole if you have that kind of a connector on a solar panel, or you could do the charging through the knobs as I just described with the alligator clips from your battery charger. So let's follow this wire and follow it through the wiring. When we've got the battery connected, we've got power coming here. This gives us the positive and the negative over here, and then it's a 3-tab switch, and so this center one is going to, when the switch is turned on, feed that positive to the other 3 connectors. And so it goes from here to the voltmeter and the USB, then here to the USB, and then here to that third USB. And then on the negative side, they daisy chain as well, so they go from the negative to the negative to the negative. And this end one is a double connector, and then that little wire goes to the negative terminal to complete the circuit. Now, as I mentioned, these two Anderson power poles here, these are connected directly to the studs or the terminals here on those plugs that we saw on the outside. So they are powered all the time, and they are protected by these inline fuses. And so that's the wiring. It's pretty compact, it's pretty simple, and it should allow you to do just about anything that you want to do. Now, the other thing about these connectors here is that they spin on to tighten them through the hole. So it's about a 1-inch hole, and then the component comes up through the bottom, and then these rings spin to tighten them on there. And so if you wanted to, you could loosen the rings, take off the tabs, and you could replace those with something else. There are a number of different things that come in this form factor for power boxes, and so customizing the box with, maybe a 12-volt socket might be something you'd want instead of 4 USBs. It would be very, very easy to do. So when we get this thing ready to go, then we'll just kind of fold it over and pop it back together, and you're ready to go. It's got a gasket ridge here, and then so it will be fairly watertight, so nothing you have to worry about if it's out in the rain or getting splashed about a little bit. So you have a lot of choices for batteries, but as you can see, as I move this back over, there is plenty of room to put any of a number of size of these LiFePO4 batteries in it. So, what do you think? Feel free to leave a comment below. My initial opinion is that this box is a great choice for the ham who likes doing parks on the air or operating at a campground. I sometimes refer to this as picnic table portable. At only about 7 pounds with a 20 amp hour battery, it's easy to carry a few dozen yards to a picnic table or park pavilion. But it's not probably something you'd want to backpack with. In any case, it beats the heck out of my behemoth lead-acid box. I get tired just thinking about it. If you're interested in a lightweight vertical antenna for your portable operations, join me over here where we'll take a look at the antenna I tried out at Quartzfest. As always, if you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe to the Gadget Talk channel. Thanks for watching, and 73.